Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to talk about creating content and how to get that kickstart to create the content to drive traffic to whatever website, cause, product, or service that you're trying to offer. I'm trying to make these videos where I sort of go about my day and find little bits of interaction or lessons that I'm learning. And today I was in one of my favorite groups, the Content Creators Group on Facebook, run by Kim Doyle, a good friend of mine. I'm going to have her on my podcast pretty soon. And somebody mentioned that they were ready to sort of start creating content for their business, not working, in their business, but working on their business, right? Drive traffic back to the website. So I had asked, what kind of content are you going to focus on when you kickstart this effort? And she had mentioned that she was going to start creating a workbook, sort of free download ebook, sort of lead generation or lead magnet, as it's sort of known in the marketing world. And I think that's great. I think that's a great approach. You sort of have this downloadable thing or this consultation that you give away for free, whatever it might be. And that's a great little nugget to have in your business. I think a lot of people should have something like that. Even I don't have something like that, and I'm really sort of working towards that right now. But this leads me to sort of the first problem that I see a lot of folks do. And I should maybe even preface this. You're always in motion. You're always testing things of what works in your business. I think that some of the advice that we hear, even advice that I might be giving you, it might work for me in my context, but it might not work for you in your context. And what I noticed that a lot of people sort of get into the idea of creating the lead magnet or the offering before they really start thinking about how am I going to consistently drive traffic to this? So here's the problem. You might lock yourself away in a cabin, in an office somewhere, and start going to town on this thing. You might be developing and designing it, writing for it for 2, 3, 4 weeks, months, maybe a year before you finalize this product. And all the while, you haven't really solved the issue of, is anybody going to listen to me when I launch this? Am I going to have an audience when this goes live to send this to? You might not care about that. It might be your first thing, and this is a great way to learn. It's certainly one of the ways that I learned was sort of build something and then hope somebody came, and then sort of reverse that and try to market it and start to promote it and sponsor it in different places. And I sort of worked it backwards to only find out that nobody really even wanted this to begin with. So what I would do if I were in this lady's shoes, again, she's launching this ebook, this download, that's awesome. But I would actually try to even put a pause on that and see if I can start creating content that might be in that book or in that download and really start to promote that in the different areas. Now, here's the other issue. The other issue is we sort of get paralysis analysis or analysis paralysis, whatever the phrase is, because then we start to think, okay, I have to create blogs, email content, Instagram content, Twitter content, Facebook, LinkedIn. Where are we going with all of this content? And the biggest struggle is, where do I put all this stuff? Or sort of the weight on your shoulders of, oh my God, I have to create all of this content now for all of these platforms. And what you really want to do is find your best sort of area for you to attack. Like, what are you most comfortable doing? And I will just stress that if you can do YouTube and you can do a podcast, to me, and again, this is just in my context, I feel like these are the best places that we can win. I really think that blogging isn't dead. I mean, I think that I've seen a lot of people say that they're really not reading blogs anymore and they're not really subscribing to as many email newsletters as they used to. But I think that's because people are just reacting with this just general sense. Like, I don't read any blogs anymore, or I don't subscribe to any email lists anymore. But the fact of the matter is I think we're just unsubscribing from all of the noise at a higher volume, but we're really keeping the stuff that we really like. So getting started with your content, the best thing that you can do is find that one, maybe 2 areas that you can attack. I really like YouTube now because I can create this content in video format and then break it down into either audio or written material. Again, this is just an age-old practice. A lot of people have been preaching YouTube and the way that you can create video content and then disseminate it into many pieces of content, be it written or audio only or into a newsletter, and that's great. YouTube is the #1 channel for me in content creation in 2018. I still have my podcast, and I think that is a close second place to YouTube. Speaking of podcasts, if you can get into the game like that, perfect. A lot of people are sort of a little afraid to get into podcasting because of the fact that it can seem overwhelming. You don't know what kind of equipment you need. You don't know how to upload it. You don't know how to get it connected. Side note, I did co-author a book with my friend Joe, thepodcastbook.com. You can check that out. It's a great sort of foundation to getting your podcast up and running. The idea is you're getting into an intimate way to connect with somebody through iTunes, through SoundCloud, through Google Play, whatever it is, but you're in their earbuds, you're in their car, on their commute or something like that. That's another great way to start building that audience. And the beautiful thing is, because this is all a video about how do we get that content created, it's not that hard. You have to find something that you're going to be consistent with. And if you can be consistently creating YouTube videos, go for it. You turn on your iPhone or your, affordable camera, whatever that might be, set it up on a tripod and start recording yourself and keep doing it over and over again. I recently did an episode with Sarah Dunn. She does an amazing job on her YouTube channel. And if you listen to it, she actually sets her camera up on a garbage can, which is just amazing and astonishing to me that she does that every single time. I told her that her husband should just buy her a tripod to be super easy for her to attach that camera to. She doesn't have to always flip over a garbage can to do it. But that's how easy it is. And if you want to stay consistent, you find that routine and you get right into it. Another tip for creating content and getting it going and getting that content train moving is just have fun with it. And I know a lot of people say that and they say, just have fun with it, find the content that you're passionate with. But that's nice on the surface. But what happens is when you start getting busy and you're doing work and you're actually getting stuff done and you're like, oh my God, I have to create content again. These immediate triggers go off and you're like, I feel stressed out. I have to think of a topic. I have to make sure that it's done well and it's done polished and all of this stuff. But at the same time, have fun with it. Don't let it stress you out. When I think of topics, I'm always thinking of topics and I start drilling it down in my head. I'm in the shower, I'm driving, I'm thinking about it, I'm overanalyzing it. And half the battle is just going at it and creating the content without fear. Because you should be creating as much as you possibly can. And if you start forcing it or you feel like you're just doing too much or it's overwhelming, you might not be in the right content vertical, right? So you might be like making Instagram photos and you're editing all this stuff and you're exporting it and you're putting in text and you're like, oh my God, like this sucks. I don't want to do it. When you let the stress of creating content go and you realize that some of this stuff is just like creating art. When you think about all of the real artists in the world, be it traditional artist or music artist or video artist, whatever it might be, you think about all of the stuff that they do. Like if you take comedians, for example, how many stories do you hear of comedians who just bombed over and over for decades before they became really well known or they became sort of famous, and all the jokes that they told that nobody laughed at? When you think about how much stuff has to go out in order to find a real hit, it really puts into perspective about how much content you have to create. Is this going to be challenging? Will this work for my business? Who knows? Is there a return on investment in all this effort I put into it? It all depends about how much effort you put into it, how much content actually gets out there in order to make a splash. And I'm going to leave it with a third piece of advice for creating content. Don't forget to promote it and don't feel bad about promoting it, right? Feel super confident with the stuff that you're creating and get it in front of the right people, because when it's in front of the right people, then there's the right reaction. And I talk about a lot of sort of this mental health of content creation. It sucks when you send out your mass newsletter and all of these people unsubscribe. Nobody likes that. I don't like it, but it happens to me and I move on. Same thing when you're sharing content. Sometimes you can feel like, I'm creating this content, nobody's liking it, nobody's sharing it, but maybe it's because it's in front of the wrong people. I'll tell you what I did learn today from the same woman that commented in this Facebook group is, she said, I'm gonna drive a lot of traffic through comments and live streams. That's an awesome, awesome strategy. It's one that I often forget, that commenting and engaging in groups can often get that either people linking back to you and just overall getting you on their radar, right? So they might not, who is this person who just left a comment on my Facebook post? Let me go to their website. But I know that I do that sometimes. If somebody gives a really thoughtful, strategic answer, or they're just like really funny, or I just like the content that they're sharing, I'll actually look at their profile and make sure that, hey, do they have a website, and just go check out what they're doing. And often it's a great way to start a relationship with somebody online where you can see the work and you say, hey, you know what, I want to follow you. I want to follow you on Twitter. I want to subscribe to your newsletter. Making sure that you're promoting the work, that you're engaging with other people, but you're engaging with the right people. So I hope this advice helps. If it does, go ahead and smash that like button. If it doesn't, go ahead and downvote it. I don't care. Let me know in the comments below if this stuff is helpful to you. What do you think about the channel? Have you been watching all of these videos? I'd love to learn about who you are, what you do. Leave a comment below. It would be awesome. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. What else can I say? mattreport.com, mattreport.com/subscribe to join the mailing list. We'll see you in the next video.